Hi. Today I wanted to talk about what I think a company needs to do to be a Japanese company on the global stage. And what made me think about this was because I was trying to imagine what kind of company I wanted to make the company I work at in the future. And I kind of, for now, of course, this may change, was thinking that I wanted the company to be a Japanese company. Um, it'll be on the global stage. Uh, the reason why I was kind of iffy about wanting it to call it a global company was just because uh, in my previous company that was a global company, but I think with the term global attached to a company, it created a lot of confusion sometimes internally, and I just felt like it's very difficult to manage the concept of what it means to be global, because it's it's very difficult, and depending on what country you come from, you may have a different interpretation or understanding of what global means. And I I think there are ways to kind of implement a culture that is truly global, maybe, but I feel that it will be very difficult, and I don't know if that's the kind of company I want to create for now. I would like to have the company, they need to have people of many cultures. So it's not like I just want a pure Japanese employee company. I guess I just don't want to confuse any people joining the company, whether they're Japanese or foreigners, that give them the wrong interpretation or expectation when joining, and be able to kind of create a consistent culture that they could come to terms with, because they would be joining understanding that. So there won't be any surprises, not that it can't change or evolve. And that kind of led me to the other thought. What does it mean to be a Japanese company? Um, I think this topic applies to a company of any country, but I I realize it's kind of hard to say, oh, this is what a Japanese company is per se, uh, because firstly, I mean, just like in anywhere else in the world, firstly, the population of the world is increasing so fast. Of course, some would argue that it's stagnating in many first world countries, but if you just look at the past 50 years, the global population has increased significantly, and that also kind of with the internet and evolution of technology, I feel that it has allowed for more diversity to exist uh, within every country. And when I say diversity, I don't just I mean everything. So even diversity within Japanese people, there's so many different types, and so it's kind of hard to categorize and be like, oh, this is what it means to be Japanese, or this is what it means to be a Japanese company, because you will always have groups of people saying, no, that's not a group of Japanese people who may say, that's not us, or what do you mean? That's just, they're the outliers. We're the real Japanese. Or you could also have a situation where there are people from other cultures who are like, what do you mean that's Japanese? We have that in our country too. It's not just Japanese kind of thing. And it just kind of, it becomes really hard. And so I don't know if there's an answer to this. This could become a very I think philosophical or maybe anthropological topic, but for me, I felt that at least the kind of Japanese company I want to create would be a Japanese company that could lead Japan on the global stage and kind of rediscover and evoke what it means to be Japanese today and into the future, making sure to, I guess, hold on to the essence, but evolving with the times. And I, 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 I guess I don't have an answer to what it is exactly, but I think I have like some ideas that could help people figure it out. So for one thing, and this I guess just from personal experience, but I feel that what would be important for the people within my company to kind of be able to be, I don't want to say more Japanese, but be able to better discover the essence of what it means for them to be Japanese, at least within our business culture, would be for them to discover and explore other cultures of other companies in other countries. I found that sometimes the best way to discover yourself is discovering others, because through discovering others, you have something to compare yourself to and differentiate yourself. And by being able to do that, you're able to better focus and understand what it means to be yourself, or in this case, what it means to be Japanese or Japanese company compared to the other ones that you've seen. And I feel that, sometimes a person may not even realize that what they're doing or thinking or behaving is any different from anyone else in the world until they see or speak with other people doing different things, being surprised by your actions. That's when you start realizing, oh, maybe what I thought was normal for every human, it's actually just specific to my culture or me or my company. But you can only figure that out by discovering other people, other cultures, other ways of life. So I think that is a key component to being able to find some answers in what it kind of means to be Japanese nowadays. And I think another important aspect is kind of self-awareness as an individual, and being able to kind of observe yourself and understand your biases and how you may be interpreting things one way or another. And then by discovering yourself, you also kind of better understand what it means to be human, and also you kind of better understand how others think and interact too. And I think that kind of helps you with understanding your own behavior and the people around you behavior within that environment. And I think that could better help you pinpoint hints for what it is that you're doing is making you Japanese. And I also think that will also help you with kind of understanding other people outside of your work or outside of your country and culture, and how they think differently or act differently that may be similar in how you see the behavior being done, but the essence behind it, the reason behind it, or the experiences behind it is different. And it, I think, takes understanding behaviors to a deeper level, and maybe that's where you could also find what it really means to be Japanese, at least within our business culture. And I guess this point kind of connects to the first two, but I think at least, okay, so I guess part of the thing I want to do is be a leader in Japan, representing Japan on the global stage. So what does that mean? I think that an important aspect of being able to kind of show what it means to be a Japanese company on the global stage is knowing how to communicate that to the world, which would require you to understand how people interpret or understand your behavior, and you need to be able to communicate what you are in a way that they could understand from their perspective, because you may try to say it one way, but if they interpret those words the wrong way, they'll be interpreting what it means to be Japanese in the way they want to, instead of how you want them to understand you. So I think that kind of reinforces my first point of needing to understand other cultures so that you know how to explain yourself and your culture, or your culture to other people. Otherwise, I mean, one could argue that they can figure it out on their own, or they can interpret it however they want, because you'll continue to be you. But I think that could be difficult and could backfire if they decide to wrongly interpret what you want to show, and it ends up tarnishing the image that you wanted to show off to the world. So I think that's another aspect for why, for what is necessary to be a leader of representing a Japanese company on the global stage. I guess a lot of these ideas, thoughts, kind of apply to just individual person's life in general too. I think that's kind of how you develop into better person. I don't want to say better, but like that's how you could develop even further, by applying those same ideas to yourself. I think learn about others, learn about other cultures and ideas and values, and then be able to communicate and understand it so you can better communicate yourself, be more self-aware. I think all of this applies to then every person too, on a very micro level. But I think in the end, that is what would be necessary to truly be able to represent yourself, or in this case, represent what it means to be Japanese, especially now in the modern day where everything is just becoming more diverse, and it's hard to read between the lines, or it's hard to generalize, or anyways, that's kind of what I was thinking about today. And I think I want to, in that sense, be a Japanese company in the future, representing Japan on a global stage. That's kind of my vision for now. So I guess I would need to kind of help build a culture to stimulate everyone, to kind of make them want to look outside and beyond, and also make them want to look inside themselves. But that will be another difficult topic for another time on how to do it. But yeah, anyways, those are my thoughts for the day. Thanks for anyone listening. I appreciate it. I'll catch you up again another time. Ciao.